So the UFO UAP report to Congress has finally dropped. I've done a couple of live streams about it, but for those who may have missed that, here are my takeaways from the UFO UAP report. Get in here, this is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like, please subscribe, share on social media, and comment below as I'm going through the story. Also, please consider becoming a channel member to support the channel. See the first line in the description below, or heck, simply leave a tip in the tip jar with the super thanks feature below. So moving on. Yeah, the long-awaited, it's been a saga just waiting for this thing, but the long-awaited UAP report has come out, and there wasn't much there. As I said on Twitter, this thing makes most nothing burgers look juicy. This is like a diet nothing burger. There were really only a few pieces of information in the darn thing, so let's go over them. And what was in it was essentially lies. So we got the we have them saying that there are no health effects. That's a lie. We know there have been numerous health effects, negative health effects. People getting cancer, having autoimmune disorders, and other problems from contact with UAP and UFOs. So, that's very widespread. Unfortunately, at Skinwalker Ranch, many people that go out there contract immune disorders, as outlined in the book Skinwalkers at the Pentagon. And, many people throughout the decades who have encountered UFOs, crashed UFOs, have had health effects. So burns, radiation burns, various other things. So, so that is a lie. And, and they just say that flat out, that, there's no health effects. They don't say, well, looking at the 366 cases that we've reviewed, we haven't found that. They just said, no health effects, nothing to see here. And so why would they lie about that? Well, because another big health effect are unwanted pregnancies associated with UFO contact. And, I just made a video a few days ago. Brett Baer, of all people, did a segment about that. Well, that was included in the segment. He was reporting on, I think, their preliminary report, something like that. And that segment included, a very mainstream news source included talking about unwanted pregnancies associated with UFO contact. Now, obviously, that is a very common feature of the abduction phenomenon, and it is probably a key reason why the beings abduct people is for the hybridization program. That is a massive program, a truly awe-inspiring, kind of disturbing, massive program. Now, hopefully that is for the good of humanity. There are many people that think it is, but it is a truly massive program. And for Congress or for Arrow to go there, or for them to get into that, would be to open that can of worms. So, I can understand why they would be hesitant to do that. But to openly lie about it is something else. They could say, well, we have seen no evidence of that. We've reviewed the 366 cases, and none of our pilots have gotten pregnant from these things. So, we'll let you know if we see it. That's not what they said. So they openly lied about it. They said, oh, it's not a thing. Nothing to see here. Move along, guys. So, so they are openly lying about it. They are phrasing it in such a way as to make it a blanket statement instead of saying, hey, look at the cases that we've reviewed. There's no health effects from those cases. Another thing they lied about was collisions. So, again, if they're just looking at those 366 cases or whatever the number was, I can see why they would say that. But again, they just make it a blanket statement. There are no collisions. So there's no flight safety issues involving UAP. They just say that flat out. There are no flight safety issues involving UAP. That's more or less a direct quote. So that's a lie. Go watch Preston Dennett's excellent video when he details a whole list of times where UFOs have collided with human vehicles, including planes, trains, and automobiles. So that's just a flat out lie. But why would they lie about it? Well, it says it right there in the language. There is no threat. There is no flight safety risk associated with UAPs. They don't want people to be scared. They don't want people to be scared. And I admire that to a certain extent, but that is a lie. So they should say, looking at the 366 cases, we have found no evidence of that. However, even that would be a lie because, as we know from the Ryan Graves incident, where he did nearly collide with a UAP, then, so even that would be a lie. And in fact, that was a very important case that kickstarted a lot of this, and it made a lot of people take this more seriously. So anyway, so they're lying about health effects, they're lying about collisions, and that's really not. There's really not much else in the report. They give the numbers of cases they looked at, but we already knew that from like the preliminary report. So that was a nothing. There was not a whole lot else in the report. I mean, it was lying about collisions, lying about health effects, and giving the number of cases they looked at. So I looked at official responses to the UFO report, and I looked at what Lou Elizondo had to say, and he said that, well, this is just the first report. There will be many reports to come, which is an encouraging stance, and I appreciate that. I looked at Chris Mellon's take, and he was very polite, but he did rib them for not coming forward with more. And the best one, and I think the most accurate response that I found was, of course, Representative Tim Burchett, who is being he has been very frank with people and very pro-disclosure. He can't say a lot because he has sat in on some of these behind closed door meetings with people like Robert Salas, and he's not, that was behind closed doors. He's not allowed to talk about that. I think that probably drives him crazy. It seems to, from his public appearances. But what he had to say about the UAP report was, this is a cover-up. Boom. This is a cover-up. And it is. This is a total lockdown. This is a total shutdown. This is a stone wall they are putting up. That is not good. That is not good. I really wanted to be encouraged by this report. I didn't expect them to release anything particularly juicy, but I thought this might be the first step on the, some people think there will be a 7-year plan of disclosure. Well, I thought maybe this would be day one of that 7-year plan, that they would give us a little bitty nugget, and then in the next report, they give us a little juicier nugget, and so on, and let it build up steam and permeate through the public consciousness. And then when it had built up enough steam and people were ready, they could release the juicier stuff. And, that makes sense. I think that's an organic way of doing it and a way to avoid mass panic and chaos. If you just come out and say, hey, boom, they're abducting us and there's nothing we can do about it, and there's all these other things going on, then, some people are not going to take that well. But that's not what happened. They totally put a brick wall down on this thing. They lied about what little they did say, and the rest of it was just telling us stuff that they had already told us. So I am really bummed out about this report, not because they didn't give us much in the way of interesting information, but because what it seems to represent, this stone wall that they are giving us, which is so disheartening. A lot of us had been putting a lot of faith or at least hope and arrow. I mean, this is language, the language forming arrow was probably heavily influenced by Christopher Mellon, who it is thought wrote the language forming the UAP task force. And, so we would hope for better from Arrow. But there is another way to look at it. And that is the goal of this all along wasn't necessarily about public disclosure. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Harry Reid, he wanted OSAP to become a special access program. It did not. And that would have made it more secret, not more, public disclosure stuff. Lou Elizondo, he wanted ATIP to become a special access program. And again, they wouldn't do that. And that would have made it even more secret. And the reason for that is they wanted the government to take this seriously and to kick this thing up a notch. And when that didn't happen, Lou went public. And he built up this grassroots movement and got everybody talking about it, compelling Congress to finally do something. And they did. So now we have this program actually doing this stuff and talking to people, like Robert Salas, who have had, the real information is going to the people that can do something about it, hopefully. And I think that was largely the goal all along. And once the people that are doing stuff about it are doing it, once they have a plan of action and are dealing with it, then I think they're going to be more open with us. And that makes sense. I mean, that does. That makes sense. I get that. But it is very frustrating. And it could be a long wait until they get their stuff together and start dealing with the situation well enough where they feel comfortable actually talking about it. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I hope disclosure happens tomorrow, that the 7-year plan or whatever begins tomorrow. And it might. Stuff will leak out. Absolutely, stuff will leak out. It is thought that Christopher Mellon is the one that produced the videos to Jeremy Corbell. I just learned that the other day from in a live stream. So I'm really grateful for that. I learned a lot of stuff from you guys. I really enjoyed doing those live streams, and I hope to do more of that. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So I learned that Christopher Mellon was the one that leaked that stuff to Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp. The glowing green pyramids, the orb that went into the water, that kind of stuff. So hopefully he or somebody else will leak some stuff out. And indeed, we have Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp openly saying, expect something big in January. So I do think there will be leaks and there will be information coming forward that may stimulate some sort of disclosure process, because people like Christopher Mellon and Lou Elizondo, they are the face of disclosure. And although I think they really did want to kickstart government into taking this seriously, they have also become committed, if they weren't already, to public disclosure. And I think that is going to happen. We also have Lou's book to look forward to, maybe by the end of the year. So I'm really excited about that. So anyway, those are my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Please smash the subscribe button and hit the bell so you don't miss a single video. Please join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. And please, if you enjoy these videos, please consider supporting the channel by becoming a channel member. See the first line in the description below, and there's 2 tiers of membership to receive exclusive access in videos. Until next time, this is Jack with Cosmic Road.